Hello and welcome to Sovereign RPG. I am Sovereign and we're back in Infinite Lagrange. Now I'm going to try and pronounce it properly from now on. I did get quite a few comments saying that I wasn't pronouncing it correctly and I was trying to not be an English douchebag. But it is what it is, and sometimes I'll pronounce it correctly, sometimes I won't. It depends how quickly I'm speaking, and obviously I speak very fast. And I'm so used to calling it infinite Lagrange that it's just going to be stuck in my head for a good long time, so we'll just have to get over that. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about taking cities and how we, Mass Effect, the Union on server 1, actually take cities from different levels. So you have level 2 cities, level 3 cities, level 5, level 7, and level 10. Level 2 cities are quite easy. Level 3 cities are pretty decent. I mean, it took us a week to get our first level 3, and we're hitting level 5s quite frequently now. As you can see on the map, we're actually hitting across the board quite well. Now, if you are a new union or you haven't got any cities or you'd like to think about taking some cities, start with level 2s. Don't jump to level 3s and 5s. You need to have a little bit of practice in there to sort of get the mechanics down, because there are some bugs that happen in a game that causes all kinds of mad shit to happen, and the pathing is terrible. So I'm going to show you some sort of tips and tricks to be able to get this done as easy as possible, as quickly as possible. And we're going to start off with just the general tactic that we have. So what you're seeing here is a level 2 city. This is a Maricourt. Now this is a city that we have taken. As you can see while we're doing this video, my union's actually taking another union's cities right now. So they're busy while I'm just sitting back, relaxing, making a video for you guys. So this is Maricourt. So what you'll see are these city defense fleets. Now they're guard fleets when you take the city. They're city defense fleets when they're NPCs. And you will see that there is a different kind of operational area around this. This is your standard operational area. This is what happens when you have a sort of normal fleet just standing there, just sitting in a position. They'll have this operational area. This operational area here is called a blockade. Now, anyone who goes into this area will get automatically dragged into a fight with this fleet. So what you can do before you actually set a target. So we'll go to a city that hasn't got anyone in it. We'll have a look at this level 3 city over here. So this is Karnak. You will see that there is a city defense fleets. These are level 8 because this is a level 3 city. They will have rings around them as I was showing before. I can't actually see because I've got no other players in this area and I have no exploration in this area myself. But to be able to take a city, all you have to do is click on it. When it's not under declared war, it will be orange. And when it is under declared war, which you go by clicking on the city, then you click on this and you click declare war. Once you declare war, all of these city defense fleets will become aggressive. You do have to be ready, and the sort of way I'm going to show you how to take a city, it sort of helps to have not declare war straight away. You actually declare war once you're in position. So we're back over here at Maricourt. So what you want to do, if you have 10 guys, if you have 15 guys and you want to take your first level 2 city, it's not a problem. We've done it with 3-4 players and it's not that much of an issue. But when you're actually taking a city and the higher level cities, you want to sort of get a set tactic down. Now this tactic is basically sitting 3 or 4 people inside of the blockade. Now when you haven't got declared war, you can sit inside that blockade and they will not attack you, no worries. If you have 3 or 4 guys sitting in here, 3 or 4 guys sitting in here, and have all the rest of your union dotted around the actual station, have them set at a certain distance between each other so they don't knock into each other, because the pathing in this game is pretty damn shit. So when you have your guys all in position, you have a couple of the guys in here. You don't want to put too many guys inside of the blockades because you'll all get dragged into a center circle and you'll get all pulled into one point. And it can be very difficult to get out of that point. We've had many times where there have been 10, 12 people just stuck in an area. You have to sort of retreat each person until the ball decides it can move again, which is a nightmare, which I'm hoping the devs are actually sorting out because it needs to be done pretty damn soon. So put as least amount of people inside of those blockades as you can, as you're willing to be able to do. You can have more people in there, but it can be troublesome, as I've said. So if you have everyone else around the city ready and waiting, and you have these guys attack, then you'll go in, you'll press this, you'll go into the union, and you'll click declare war down here, which will pop up when it's an NPC city. So once you click declare war, these will all go red. The whole box will go red. These guys will then attack. Everyone inside of these circles will then be dragged into the fight with this one fleet. Now there are times where there'll be 3, 4, 5 fleets in a blockade and they will all be dragged into the same fight. You will obviously need more players inside of that blockade before you go red than if it was 1. So if you have 3 or 4 guys, you want to stick 7 or 8, especially for the level 5 cities. But you still want to have as least amount of people inside of that blockade as possible so you don't have to deal with the pathing issues. So with level 2 cities, you're looking at sort of like a maximum of 370 ships. Now there'll be some that are out scouting about and exploring and doing stuff, and there'll be some that are blockading and some that are just sitting out here. When you go red, this ship fleet here, for example, will fly back here to defend the actual city. So when you've killed all of these blockade guys and all these city defense fleets around here, you can then get your guys into position that are all bundled up here. If they're bundled up there, don't worry about it. Just have a little bit more than you'll need to. You can retreat them back. Another little tip or trick to be able to get back into the fight quickly if you do get stuck. If you actually fly an operation zone to an outpost on the outside, say like you have an outpost here and you fly the operational point to this outpost, leave that operational point there when you move into position. Because when you're in the position and you do get stuck, you can actually retreat from that position and it will retreat you to here, to the outpost that you've got that first operational circle set, rather than actually sending you back to your base, which could be an hour, 2 hours away. So you can just retreat to back here, and then you can fly into whatever position around the city to fill up that circle, like all the space around the city, so you can all attack at the same time. When you do attack this city, all of these defense fleets will pop up in a circle around. Now you want to try and get as many people as possible to hit at the same time so you can spread out the damage. If one person hits first and you've got another person taking a minute to get in, that one person will be hit by all of those defense fleets at the same time, and their ships will get absolutely obliterated. Depending on how like advanced you are, if you've got cruisers, battle cruisers, carriers, then you'll obviously be able to solo some of these level 2 cities. They're not that difficult. But when you're just starting out, you want to be able to get as many people. When more people get into the fight, they will start changing their attention from the singular person, and each fleet will attack its own individual person. The more people you have there, the more people will be on separate fleets at the same time. So you can have 2-on-1, 3-on-1, 4-on-1, depending on how many players you have. And if you have a less amount of players, there'll be 5 enemies on one player, there'll be 3 enemies on another player, 2-on-1, 1-on-1, 1-on-1. But the majority of the actual fleets will attack their initial attacker until you fill in those spots and attack, and they spread out the damage. Better to get that done as quickly as possible. Once you get the first couple of fleets down, it gets quicker, because if you have 10 defense fleets and you have 10 players sitting around in a circle and you've got the 10, once one is down, 2 will hit 1, that will die quicker, then 3 will hit 1, that will die quicker, then 4 will hit 1, that will die quicker, until it's basically just AFK from there. Once you get the actual defense fleets down, as long as you have, like, there's a timer that comes up in the bottom here when you first attack the city, which is an hour. You have an hour to take that city, so you need to kill those defense fleets and you need to kill the city before that timer runs out. Otherwise it will reinforce everything in that station and all those ships will respawn again, and you'll have to start from the beginning. So make sure to kill the city and defense fleets within the hour. If you can't handle that on the higher level cities like the 3s and the 5s, and you can't do it within that hour, if, say, for instance, something happens, a bug happens or whatever, there's a lot of stuff that goes on and you get quite low on the time, the best bet for yourselves is to save your face and just retreat your fleets out and try again at another time. Once you've declared war, after 4 hours, you can set it to a truce, so it goes back to orange again. Then you can set your guys into position again, and you have to wait another 4 hours before you can declare war, so make sure to keep that in mind. So with the level 2 cities, you can take these with frigates and destroyers, not an issue with all of your players in your union. With level 3 cities, you're going to want destroyers and cruisers. That's not a problem. These level 3 cities, like these ones over here, you just take them with destroyers and cruisers. With like the level 5s, there are 2 different kinds of level 5s. You'll see this one here is Reservia, and it has 2 level 5 cities within the Reservia area. Now, you do not have to take Reservia. You don't have to attack Reservia. This is not where you have to attack. You have to attack these separate cities that are within the area. So you're looking at Tama and you're looking at Galilee. So these 2 are the only 2 that you have to take, and it will automatically take control of Reservia and you take the whole city square. With the level 5s, you're going to need as many people as possible. It is still quite difficult. Even if you just screw up one time and you've only got like 5 people attacking a city because a load of people went AFK, you will lose. You will get your ass kicked no matter how big you are. You need to be coordinated, you need to be there, and you need to be ready. The other type of level 5 city is just your standard 1 city area where you just have to fight the 1 level 5 city and it is yours. Not an issue, no problem. Just make sure, as you can see with these ones, there's going to be a hell of a lot more city defense fleets sitting around on the outside here. So you do need more people to be sitting in. Now, if you do have people sitting on the outside here so you don't overlap them, that can help, but be aware that when you do this, sometimes your guys out here won't jump to this guy in the middle. They'll jump to this guy, which will then drag this guy into that fight. So these guys over here will not get dragged into the fight. Only these guys will then have to take on 4 different people. Now, if these people get dragged over to this fleet over here, these 2 fleets will get dragged into this fight. These fleets will get dragged in, and sometimes this fleet will get dragged in. So you will have to sort of have a backup plan for if there's multiple ships there. So having maybe 8 to 10 ships here is a good amount. Now, if you have everyone else sitting around in the outpost over here and waiting for your blobs to get stuck in the pathing hell that is Infinite Lagrange, then have them waiting there. Once that fight starts, the rest of your guys, 20, 30 people, or however many people you have in the fleet, so we have quite a lot of attendance on our ones, so you can get them to start moving into position around the city itself. And it's basically the same tactic as the level 2 and level 3 cities. There's not much change. You just need to have better ships, more research in those ships. It's not always bigger is better. We use only cruiser fleets. The occasional person does chuck in a BC every now and then, but it's not massively needed. Now let's get on to what you shouldn't do. You shouldn't pile people one behind the other. You should have everyone set out in a space around the city individually, sitting around so they can get into the attack as quickly as possible. You don't want too many people sitting in the blockades because they will, as I said, bundle up and you'll be stuck in a pathing hell. They won't be able to get out of there. You will have to retreat those people. But if you use the outpost trick that I told you earlier, that's not a problem. You can do that. That's sorted. You can get around that pretty simply if you need to have more people to fight those fleets because you're not as strong as some of the other players. Just sit them all out. Don't have people sitting behind. You can, with the higher level cities, have backups. So if someone's got a weaker fleet, have someone sitting behind them with another weaker fleet if you want to get micromanaging about it. And when that fleet has to retreat, the fleet behind them can then go into position and start attacking that city. I'm sorry that I don't have footage of the actual city takes itself. There's a massive issue at the moment because we have so many players and we have so much activity and so many people like want to get involved in the city takes. It actually lags out to crap and everything gets stuttery and the game doesn't load properly and blah, blah, blah. Even on phone, on the emulator, on the PC client, there's an issue for most people at the moment. There's something that changed in the last one. I will try to get some footage for you at a later date. But this is basically the first steps on how you start your Union Empire, where you start taking out cities all over the place and be able to defend that. I will be doing videos on how to defend cities, how to defend your other player bases, etc, etc. There are some very good tactics involved in that, which can allow you to have a very small force defeat a very large force because of the way that the game actually runs when it comes to the mechanics of attacking other players. So make sure to look out for that. If you did find this video useful and you did enjoy it, please hit that like button. Remember to sub if you haven't already. I will be doing more Infinite Lagrange videos in the future for you guys. I want to say a huge thank you to all my patrons. Without you guys, I wouldn't be able to continue doing what I'm doing. If you'd like to find out how to become a patron and how to get early access to my content, please look down in the description. Fly safe and avoid local chat scams.